Welcome to the Higher Expectations Podcast with the Higher Advantage Real Estate, where you'll hear from Ron, Michael, and Josh, a multi-generational family of real estate experts in Southern California. We'll uncover valuable gems and insights on how you can grow your wealth, live life better, and we'll have some motivation and inspiration along the way. So today, our special guest is Chris Gonzales. Before we get to Chris, also co-host is Josh Vigil.
Hello, hello, hello.
How's it going, Chris?
Good, gentlemen.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
So Chris Gonzales is the head foreman, estimator,
Project
manager for Economu Construction, which has been out in the Antelope Valley for I think way longer than 30 years. Now, and you've been with the company for
5 years.
5 years, but you've known the Economus for
Since I was about 12 years old.
That's pretty awesome.
So their daughters and my sisters competitive cheered their whole life. So from competitions, from traveling all over, everything. So I've known them on that side of it for, like I said, for almost 25 years. And then it just ended up working out towards the end. And
That's
now
pretty
here
cool.
we are.
It's pretty cool. It's still a small valley.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And you've grown up here for a long time. A little bit about Chris Gonzales. A little bit there? Closer?
Sorry
Closer
about
like
that.
this? Put it
It's
on
my
my
first
nose.
time.
Technical
It's all
difficulties.
good. It's all good. I miss mine around too. So both you and Josh are kind of in the same age, and you've got kids in sports and things. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on outside of work, and we'll get to work in a little bit. But tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, I like to say we run a million miles an hour all the time. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Andrea. She also works for Economu, so we also live together, we work together, we do everything together, and it's a very big blessing. But we have 3 kids. My son Jason's 12. We have an older daughter, Raylan, that's 10, and then Kylie's 5. My son Jason does jiu-jitsu 2 times a week. My oldest daughter does softball, which I coach, and then my youngest daughter does soccer, which I coach that also.
Oh, that's a lot.
So it's Monday, Tuesday, jiu-jitsu, Wednesday, soccer, Thursday's our only break day. Friday is softball and gymnastics for the little one, and then Saturday soccer games, Sunday softball games.
I feel like you're living my life
That's
in a different family.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man. I'm just like, wow. I didn't think anybody did as much as me.
The working
Just
sports
joking.
dad. That's cool.
Yeah.
It only works because me and Andrea work so well together.
Yeah.
It's got to be a team.
You have to have a team. Yep.
Exactly. So there's a lot of times where I say Andrea plans everything. Without her, my life's chaotic.
Yeah.
I execute. I make sure everything gets done, but she needs to help lay everything out for me.
Yeah. Behind every good man, there's a good wife.
An
there
excellent,
too. Yeah.
excellent
Yes,
wife.
sir. Yeah.
And I got a great one.
Yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
good.
Yes,
That's
sir.
good.
So
That's
a little bit about that, which I think is really inspiring, especially for you having all your kids involved in extracurriculars. I grew up and I was always busy. My family always had me in soccer year round. I strongly believe that for kids to be successful in life, I think that they need to be involved in extracurricular activities and doing something. And being able to work as a team or do something where
I think
you're
that's social
socializing.
interactive is really good.
I think it's really
that's
key.
important.
Yeah, I think it's really important for development and for later on our success, with
Yeah.
just being social. But the one thing you mentioned that really I liked a lot is the soccer and jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
So I coach my son as well, his soccer team. I've coached him since he started playing soccer. But I also help coach jiu-jitsu, and I train jiu-jitsu with my son as well. And I know that we've talked about it privately, and people tell you that you think that you should start training jiu-jitsu. But I think jiu-jitsu is going to be super key for him. Just for his development. I just see how all the kids thrive in jiu-jitsu from a cognitive standpoint. Like they think through things, they learn how to get themselves out of bad positions. And I also think it really controls their demeanor and who they are.
It's
Yeah.
like give them some confidence too, and I think
Big
that's
time.
huge.
Well, it's also about adversity.
Yeah.
You know, with every sport, especially with jiu-jitsu, seeing it, you can know how to do it, and someone can come in and just make it look like you have no idea what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So you have I tell my kids all the time, you have 2 options. When something goes wrong, option 1 is you can sulk about it and ruin the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Or you can say, you know what, that's not how I planned that to be.
Yeah.
What can I do to make sure that doesn't happen again? Or what can I do now to stop and to keep moving forward from there?
I think that's like life, right?
Hey, oh, yeah.
It translates to life automatically. You're going to have some setbacks, and you're going to let those bother you, or you're going to think about them and then figure out how to make it better, and
Exactly.
then move forward. So I like that. That's it.
What's
Sports do that.
the definition of insanity is doing the same thing
Over
every
and
single day with no change in result.
Right. Yeah. That's a good one.
And,
Yeah.
and adversity is good too, because sometimes something negative happens, and you can't see the positive in it. But what I'm really big on is when something negative in my life happens, I always find what that positive is. There's always something there. You just have to look hard enough to find it.
Sir.
Yep.
Yeah, we always learn more from our failures than we do from our successes.
Yep.
And that's always keep that in mind. I've had a few, and but they're mini launching pads.
Yeah.
All right. It's just like, okay, well, that didn't work. What does work? Let's do it differently. And you keep doing things differently. You just can't help but getting ahead. So I like that. It's good. Adversity we don't like it, but it's good for us.
Got to have a plan.
Exactly.
Yeah. So a little bit to get back to Economu Construction and what you do for the company and what the company does for their clients.
Okay. So, like you guys said, I'm a foreman, estimator, project manager. I deal with insurance jobs, home improvements, real estate transactions when it comes to pre-sales, when it comes to escrow repairs, walking it with the job or with the client, going over everything, explaining the why of things, why you need to do it, why you might not need to do it, going over things that we've seen over the years of, you know what, you don't really need to do this technically, but if someone comes in and sees this and then they see something else, it'll start leading into possibly looking into, well, let me start looking under here more and start looking under this. So it's always better to present that foot forward.
Yeah.
But it has to be, I can't be the one to convince them. It's their home.
Yeah.
So I just give them the options.
Yeah, and I have a good example of Chris in that light with actually a client of mine right now. So my client wanted to get the flooring replaced in a duplex that we're going to be selling here soon, and we just wanted to replace it with he has linoleum in it, but the linoleum's kind of thrashed, and wanted to pull it up and replace it with some new linoleum. But Chris, with his experience, came in, was able to kind of look at the flooring and say, hey, the flooring doesn't look like it's even all the way around, and in order for us to get it the way that we want it, for that linoleum to lay nicely and there's no bumps or things like that could cause like damage in the future on it, it needs to be completely level. So you would have to add something to level out the flooring if we're going to do that. Or we could go this route with the laminate flooring that we ended up going, which ended up being just it was very similar in cost, but makes a huge difference.
Exactly.
So those are the options, and that's what I love about Chris is that he talks to every client when I'm there with Chris, and he meets with my clients, and they talk about, hey, I want to do these things. Chris is there. He's like, hey, well, while you have me here, tell me anything and everything that you want to do to your property, even if you don't want to do it now, just so you have an idea, and then I'll give you a whole list of all the things that we can take care of for you, and then from there, if you don't want anything, just tell us to remove it from the bid. We'll remove it.
That's one thing I really like about the way you present your bids. It's like a line item, whatever the things are, say it's painting, roofing, landscaping, or whatever, and every line has got a dollar amount. That's one thing we've had in the past with different people is you get a whole laundry list of stuff to fix, and then you've got a price at the bottom. It's like you have no idea what any of those things cost. Yeah. And if you don't want something in there, the client doesn't want something in there, they can either line it out or tell us they don't want it in there, or they take it out and put and redo the bid.
Exactly.
And it's really nice. And I think all of my clients really like the fact that you can do that kind of like red line different items out of there if they don't want them and customize it.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's the key is it's my job to present them with everything.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, listen, give me your laundry list. We'll write everything up. It'll go room to room because my goal is if you, homeowner, has no idea anything about construction, you can look at my bid and say exterior work. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Okay, there's 5 lights. We're going to walk in. Entryway, doorknobs, or interior doorknobs, painting, this. Entryway right. Hall bedroom left. So you can walk through the job and know where everything is going to be.
Yeah.
And on the other side of it, when you give an essay with the price at the bottom, if it's, Josh's house and, comes out to be $40,000 for everything that's on there, and you say, hey, how much would it be to not do that hall bathroom? And then they change the number. They send it back to you. You don't know where that money really came from.
Yeah.
Where for me,
because it's just got a new price at the bottom.
Exactly, just a new price at the bottom, but you don't really know, if let's say it was from 40 to 30, or from 40 to 38.
Yeah.
Was that $2,000 really all it was for the bathroom?
Yeah.
Or do they just kind of move things from there? For us, we like to leave that with no, what's the word I'm looking for?
You guys disclose full transparency.
There you go. Full transparency.
No ambiguity.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
I always tell them it's your house. It's your money. Yeah. You need to know where it goes every cent.
Yeah.
So when you guys decide to sign that and you guys go with you guys and you sign this and you go with us, you know where everything's going to be.
Yeah.
From our walkthrough to the estimate to the scheduling to the guys sending photos. You know, I tell people all the time, I'm usually on call 24/7.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I'm coaching, things like that. But with this job, it's blessed me with so many things outside of work that it's my way of keeping the company happy and keeping everybody involved, to where if someone texts me in the evening, hey, you know, I just noticed that this paint's not finished.
Yeah.
Well, most people work 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. They're not at their house during all the construction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they get home, they start settling down between 6 to 7:30. They're looking at all the work.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I wonder, that's not done yet. And they send me a picture. Hey, no problem. Thanks for letting me know that. Yes, you know, we have the schedule. The painter's got 3 more days left. Send me any pictures you have. The last thing I would want is, and I say this all the time, is for someone to think that they're that person.
Yeah.
There's a running joke in my office. I could talk to a brick wall.
Yeah.
So it's communicate with me as much as you want.
We talk about that all the time. Communication's number one reason that problems arise.
Yep.
A lack of communication. Mm-hmm. Having open communication solves almost every problem.
Exactly.
But that's good. Open communication is great.
Mm-hmm. One thing, I'm sorry, real quick. One thing you mentioned about the scheduling that I really love about Economu is that you guys have everything listed out and it's super efficient. And I could talk about my homes, because all the homes that I've owned in my life, Economu has done every single home of mine. And you guys will say, this is what we're doing day 1, this is what we're doing day 2, this is what we're doing day 3, day 4, we're doing a final walkthrough, touch-ups, and we're done. And I love that part because there's no ambiguity throughout the whole process. Like, there's full transparency on the bids. We know what's taking place on those days. We know if we're going to be without water for a period of time, or if toilets are going to be removed and stuff. And you guys are very courteous with, like, hey, do you guys need to use the restroom or anything before we turn off the water, do these things. So I really like that about Economu. And for me, it's like I like to over-communicate, and I know you're just like that. And that makes me feel comfortable, because when I talk to my clients, I tend to over-communicate, but I prefer, if I over-communicate, it's better because you have a lot more information, and you're probably not going to call me later for questions.
No such thing as over-communicating.
Yeah, but Chris does a really good job. So it makes me feel like when he talks with my clients, that I know my clients aren't really going to have any questions. And if they do have any questions that come up, we'll get it addressed. But for the most part, everything's answered at that point. So
comfortability is key.
Yep.
Yeah, and your company does not just. Well, we talked about investors, so there's possibly some REOs out there and fix and flips. So I think a lot of people, investors, purchase homes and then they hire somebody, your company preferably, to go in and give them a bid and to get it up to move-in condition.
Exactly.
And you do a lot of those, right?
Oh yeah, that's our bread and butter is investment stuff and things like that, real estate work. And the good thing is, like I said, I can't take credit for all the systems and everything in place. Ron and Desi have been doing this since 1990 when it started.
Ron and Desi
Economu. Sorry, Ron and Desi Economu. Okay. And so they started everything back in 1990, 1991, from little handyman work to jumping into apartment maintenance to growing into what it is today. So I can't take credit for all of the schedules. Kyle, Economu, their son, helps run everything, and he's scheduling and the future of IT and everything like that, streamlining everything. So it's great to work with a bunch of people that are very like-minded, family-oriented, and we're really looking out for the people.
I know that. Yeah, that's one of the reasons that we like working with you guys, because you're looking out for the client's best interests. It's like, how can I make more money on this project? Because I've never seen that in any of your bids. And like I said, you give the client the opportunity to redline an item out or anything like that. And like what Josh said, change the subject a little bit, we have a current property in escrow. It's getting ready to close. And it needs a water heater replaced for the request for repairs, which he mentioned earlier. And it's like, hey, we need this done, whatever it is. They do A to Z, which is really nice. And it's not just in real estate. If somebody's got a repair that they need on their home, they can get a bid, and whether you're selling your house or not, you can still take care of their house, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we do home upgrades. If you got a new job or something happened, you want to change your kitchen, you want to change your bathroom, you want to change the interior paint, you want to add lights, all of that stuff, we do it all. I tell people we're A to Z, from windows, floors, roofing, ADUs, ground up builds. We do it all. Ron, Economu, my boss right now, just is finishing up a $2 million tear down and rebuild in Canyon Lake.
Yeah.
So it's permits, plans, pouring concrete, all of that. It's actually really amazing to see from the beginning to a dirt lot to just the foundation being poured to what it is now. It's so night and day.
Yeah, that's crazy how that works.
Yes.
Switching subjects to Ron.
Yep.
Ron actually introduced me to Economu when I first came in the business back in 2016 because I had asked him, I was like, I didn't have relationships at that point. So I didn't know who do I reach out for plumbers or, whoever it was. First person he ever put me in contact, aside from a carpet guy that we used to use, was Economu.
Nice.
And stuff. So I used to work, back in that day, my contact was Jason.
Yes.
When Jason was with the company. He's an awesome guy. But I was so happy that he did that because it helped me make a lot of different relationships. Like I know a lot of your guys' your staff that does the painting. Like Enrique is one of my favorite. Moises. All those guys that are on your guys' crew are just so nice, and they're just such good people, and they work hard and they do excellent work. But I'm blessed that he introduced me to Economu because I know it's like when I refer my clients over to them, if they decide that they want to work with you guys at that point, I know that they're going to be left in good hands.
Yeah.
I've only worked with Kyle a few times. Like I've talked to Kyle, but Ron has an older relationship with over the many years of working with Ron directly when he was
A little bit with Ron, mainly with Jason.
Oh, Jason too. Okay.
Jason was like Chris's position.
Chris's position.
Yeah, Jason was with the company for, I believe it was over 20 years.
Yeah.
With Ron from the beginning. And in 2020, he decided he was ready. He retired, moved, and just sailed off away in the sunset. And, we talked to him. He's doing great.
That's good.
He's still doing good.
Yeah.
And then Andrea, who works in the office, is my wife. I was working at another job in the restaurant side of things, and I love that job. I love the restaurant. I love people. I love talking. I love when someone has an issue with something, being able to help them get to the end resolution without trying to point the finger of, well, it's your fault or anything along those lines. Because most of the time when people are upset, they feel they're not communicated enough or their voice isn't being heard. So sometimes it's just letting someone talk, understanding where they're coming from and figuring it all out. And then, it's just nice. And then when Jason retired, Ron asked me if it was something I'd be willing to do. And, we stepped in, walked a couple of jobs with Kyle, walked some with Jason, tried to, figure out how they do things. And it's been, some ups, some downs in the beginning. And I figured out a good system that works for me, and it's nice.
Well, I feel like they got a good replacement in place. Like
sure.
you stepped in those shoes and you ran with it. And
Thank you very
did a
much.
good job there.
Yeah, that was excellent. Which leads me to when I first met you, we were doing not a whole house remodel, but it was pretty extensive. I don't know if you remember, the house was on Horizon. It doesn't matter. Michael remembers.
I remember the name, yes.
And they're just walking through. Do you have a favorite rehab that you did? And if you don't, that's okay. I was just thinking, man, you've done so many. And if there's like probably they got little ones that are, they needed a light bulb changed. Or they needed the whole thing done. They got paint inside and outside. They needed a roof. They needed add a room. I don't know.
Well, there's a few things that definitely come to mind. The first one is I love insurance jobs in the sense of helping out the client, because when their entire kitchen's ripped apart,
It's the insurance's fault.
well, what happens is when that happens, the insurance company's like, we need to get this done as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And you, the homeowner, are looking around and everything's so chaotic and I don't know what to do. And so then we come in, slow things down, talk you through everything, go through the process of how it's going to go.
Have a plan.
Exactly. And I tell the clients, listen, when I submit the bid to you, send them my name, my phone number, our address, everything about it. So if they have any questions, they can talk to me, because typically homeowners don't know everything about a home when it comes to the rebuild side of it. And, if an insurance says, oh, do we really need to do that? I don't think so. And you're like, well, maybe not. You might not have to do that. The insurance might get their way out of it that way. So it's my job to help them from the beginning to the end And sometimes there's issues with, like, they have kids, you know, there's no kitchen. And, you know, so it's talking them through, getting them into a hotel, getting them into a rental house, all those things that are outside of my scope of work.
Yeah.
But it helps build that relationship. And I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's happening in the process of it so I can help them in any way that I can.
Yeah. I think the big part of that, though, too, is also you're fighting for them to get the money, because sometimes insurances don't want to pay out what the amount of extensive work that needs to be
Like
done.
always.
Well, they like to make the homeowners think that the homeowners work for the insurance.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
the insurance
Other way.
works for you.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like you being there and leading them through that and submitting the proper documentation to say, like, no, this is what it's going to cost, you know, and making sure they get reimbursed the right amount to get the work
And
done.
listen, I've
That's
had
great.
it. I've had it where they said, you know, I don't feel like it's this much work. We're going to send a third-party adjuster out. And my response is, no problem. Just tell me the date and time. And we walk it through it. We go through everything. And about 99% of the time, they meet me where I'm supposed to be at.
Yeah, you're right, Chris. Yeah.
Well, the problem is, like, you know, these national companies have to have a middle line of what everything costs, from drywall to painting to flooring. So they can't have it designated with just the Antelope Valley is going to be one cost, and then we're going to do Bakersfield, because there's so many towns
so many
that
variables.
it's got to be a middle ground. So they say if it's $4 here and, you know, $10 there, we're going to say all drywall repairs are going to be $6, just because it's a good middle ground. And then I come in and say, hey, you know, it's going to be $9, $10. And they're like, well, that's more than what we say. And you say, okay, it's because X, Y, Z. And then they say, okay. They just want to know. And it's hard because insurance companies have been hosed over by homeowners a bunch of times. Homeowners have been hosed by the insurance companies so many times.
Yeah. I feel
So
like it's more one way, though.
But it makes each side put up a wall.
Yeah.
So the insurance companies find a middle ground. They say, well, now you're trying to get more money. And I say, well, hold on, I'll explain everything. And then they say, okay, that makes sense. There you go. So it's, like I said, it's communication. It's an understanding of meeting both sides in the middle, that insurance companies want to pay what they're supposed to pay to get the house back. And the homeowner needs to understand, you had carpet, you get carpet.
They just want their house back.
Exactly. And there's been times where I've had to turn away jobs because some homeowners are like, hey, so you think I can get my backyard done with all of this? And I'm like, maybe, but not through us.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's your word is what you're known for.
Yeah.
So you can have 99 great jobs that everyone's like, oh yeah, that's how they're supposed to be.
Yep.
And then the one bad job or the one bad insurance job, everyone talks about it.
Yeah.
No,
So
you don't need that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you work a lot. Andrea works a lot. You guys are busy. What do you do for like downtime? Do you guys go anywhere? Do you just chill at home and watch a movie? You ever get away at all?
you know what? Every once in a while, we like to go to Valencia. It's not far, but my family lives in Valencia, so we'll take the kids, we'll drop them off there, we'll stay in a hotel for the night, we'll go to a movie, we'll go to dinner, and then wake up, pick the kids up, and go back.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, it's great. So I tell people, when COVID happened, me and my wife got so much closer. We talk about everything.
Yeah.
I text her throughout the day. We'll be in the office and I'll text her something instead of just walking back there. So we talk all the time. So when it comes to what we do outside of work, we love being home.
Yeah, you're home buddies.
Yes,
Yeah,
we love being home.
I love that too.
We have a cat, we have a fish, we have a tortoise, a gigantic tortoise.
Yeah.
So we love being home, and the kids, we have a backyard with grass and a swing set. So the kids like being outside, and that's my grounding. Is like, don't get me wrong, like I love people.
Yeah.
No.
If you guys had a party on Saturday, I'd love to go. But outside of that, if there's not something planned, I just love being at home.
You and me are on the same page, man. I tell you what, like they're just like when I don't have anything scheduled for that day or I block a specific day off. There are days now where I'm starting to block off
Your barbecue.
a weekend. Yeah, I will stay home, but I just want to be with my family.
Yes, sir.
And not just not my direct family, because I love being with my wife and my kids, but I also like spending time with this guy. I love
Exactly.
spending time with this guy, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-laws. I like having everybody together because we all get along so well, and we all laugh very hard with each other. We share a lot of stories. We've been through a lot together as a family. I just love those moments and just kind of being like shut off mode.
Yeah, no, it's nice. Yeah, well, just last Saturday, my sister lives in Tennessee. She flew into town. So both my sisters, my brother, my mom, we all got to my house in the morning. We went to a 9 o'clock soccer game for the littlest one. came back to the house for an hour, then went back to the park because my nephew Joey had a flag football game, then came back to my house, and then my sister that lives in Valencia, her son had a baseball game, so they all drove to my house. So by the time it was like 3 o'clock, we had about 12 people, all family, nephews, everyone.
That's awesome.
All playing in the backyard. We ordered pizza. They just played. There was no like, all right, guys, at 3 o'clock, we're going to play this game. At 5 o'clock, we're going to do this. Everyone leaves at 6. We all just hung out. People were playing. People were eating. People were just talking.
That's what it's about.
That's
Yes,
good
sir.
to hear because I don't hear about that anymore. It was like that when I was a kid, but this valley was so much smaller.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and half
They
of the
had
people that-
horse carriages with
There
dirt
was
roads.
There were dirt roads out there. If anybody saw the podcast with my mom, I asked her, I goes, hey, was everything paved out here when you were a kid? And she goes, no.
It was just all dirt.
Like 60th was paved, and that was just, 100 years ago. Almost, not that far ago. But
Well, it's crazy. Even like me as I'm 35, but I grew up. I went to Rancho Vista and Hillview and all of that, and went to Quartzo High School. But where that golf course is, used to just be dirt. We used to ride bikes through that dirt lot and pop off at the Chevron and the Burger King right there, right by Marie Kerr Park, just a straight shot through. And then I tell my kids that, and they're like, "No, no, none of this was here. Like all these houses, it was all dirt."
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it was for me.
Since you said that, where that golf course is and Rancho Vista is, all of that, there was nothing out there. Rancho Vista Boulevard was actually Avenue P for like forever, and then at 30th it was paved. P was paved to 30th, and there was like an L, and then it came down into Lancaster. And there was like 3 or 4 houses within like a 5, maybe 6 square mile area, and we marked off a quarter mile, and we would race our cars
Really?
right about where that golf course is. But it was a 2-lane road. There's nothing out there.
In his GTO.
In my GTO. And my buddy had a Firebird. It was fun.
There you go.
and there's some other cars too, but there's like nothing out there.
Yeah.
And I go, not that it was safe because racing's not safe, but we had a lot of fun.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
And especially today.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Yeah, now they have 1,000 horsepower cars.
Yeah.
And a lot of people out there and flying golf balls and too many people out there to
Yes.
be racing on 30th Street West.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tidbit. We had another place out on about 70th, maybe. It was further outside. It seemed like it was outside of town back then.
Yeah, right.
70th was outside of town. Now it's like full of houses and stuff. But we had a quarter mile marked off out there too.
How often did you have to change your tires?
I mean, we weren't racing every day, but we went
With
through
the GTO?
We went through a little road.
Whenever
around the
someone
tires
called you
there.
out.
Yeah, one time we so my GTO had headers on it, and then there's like 3 bolts on each collector, and we took the bolts off and hung them up with a coat hanger, so it was just basically free flowing. Okay, it sounded like you're at the drag.
Yeah.
It was, and it's loud, and we raced like that out in the middle of nowhere, just because and it was like dusk, and you could see the flames coming out of the exhaust. And I'm thinking that's probably not safe. We just wouldn't do that anymore. Just in case it catches on fire, then I don't want to be responsible for a fire.
Hey, I have a question, bro.
But it was fun.
I have a quick question for you.
Oh.
Are you from? I just saw this post from a guy that I actually want to see if he will come on this podcast. This, a gentleman named Bob Alvis. He posts a lot of old school things here in the Antelope Valley area. And the recent post I just saw was the Burger Hut, and it was off of in Quartz Hill. It was a little white. It was a white building, and it's called the Burger Hut. And I just saw a post about it, and I saw so many people comment. People out here that grew up in the AV, and they talk about they were the best burgers in town. Talk about their Nilla shakes and all these different things. Did you ever eat there?
Maybe.
I
don't remember called Burger Hut, but it could have been.
Yeah.
And I mean, there wasn't much back then. And Quartz Hill didn't have much at all.
Well, there was another burger place close to like Karina's dad's house, right? That you would.
That was called the White House.
Okay.
And I think they moved that from like approximately
I've seen that
Avenue
building.
K and 10th Street, and they moved it around the corner over to like Division, I believe. And that was a long time ago, kind of way before Carl's Jr. was there in that vicinity. I'm pretty sure they moved that over down the street and to the left.
So, what was the go-to places to eat when you were growing up?
Like when I was in high school?
Yeah.
There was Carl's Jr., there was a Noggles, which I don't know if it's Noggles or Del Taco now. They kind of merged over the years. But on Avenue I and between 10th Street West and 15th Street West, that was like the hangout. You go there, drive around, see some of your friends, and say, hey, any parties anywhere? Hey, there's one out here. And then everybody would head out to the party, whatever that, wherever that
cruising
was.
at Carl's Jr.?
Cruising, actually, we did cruising. That was years ago when cruising, like Lancaster Boulevard, didn't look like it does today. Today they got center median parking, and that was all open. And people with fun cars, muscle cars, different kind of cars, would park on the sides of the street, and they would just go down there, just go chit-chat with your friends, play some music. It was not like out of control. Every once in a while, years ago, down at Van Nuys, cruising Van Nuys Boulevard, it was like the hot place. And sometimes things got a little crazy down there. I don't ever remember anything getting crazy on Lancaster Boulevard. It's just guys in their cars and their girlfriends. It's just talking cars mostly.
Slower side of life.
Yeah. It was cool. It's kind of almost like American Graffiti. If you ever watched that movie, it wasn't too different from that. That was a little bit older, but it was kind of like that.
Did you did you know that where the Costco is right now, it used to be a water park out here in the
Really?
Alabama? Yeah. I learned that from that guy online, that Bob Alvis guy, and he showed a picture of it, and I asked Ron, and Ron was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Man."
So it's funny. I don't have a Facebook or an Instagram. I think I have one still, but I haven't been on it in like over 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the name Bob Alvis because Andrea tells me like, "Oh, look at this."
Yeah.
And this is what Lancaster Boulevard looked like, and look at this building.
I love the stuff he posts. He has a big following, and I want to get him on here just to speak about like the Valley, probably before even Ron was growing up out here. I'm sure he knows so much about a lot of different things, and I like hearing about the story, especially from Ron. Ron tells me a lot of stories of growing up, and I love hearing them. He's like, I probably told this story. I'm like, yeah, 15 to 20 times, but I like hearing. I like hearing it again, though. I like hearing it again.
We were talking about the old school Lancaster Boulevard. My dad moved here in the 9th grade. I forgot how old he was, but his dad was a mechanic down in Venice, and then he got promoted and was running the construction yard for the county out of Palmdale on about it's just south of where the Palmdale Cultural Center and all of the Palmdale city offices are. But my grandfather gave my uncle, which is my dad's brother, this picture. I got the black and white that shows Palmdale Boulevard running across the railroad tracks, and on the west side of the railroad tracks is a dirt road. It's like, that thing's old.
Yeah.
I don't know when it was. I would say the 1940s. It might have been earlier than that. But it was an aerial view, so you couldn't really see what kind of cars on there. And there's some other farming going on right around there. And there's no farming in there now. And there's sparse buildings and things. But some of those old photos, the aerial photos of the way that Lancaster and Palmdale used to be, it is still pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see where it was to what it is now.
Oh, yeah. Grew up a bunch.
Yeah, well, there's some good things to it, and there's some bad sides. Obviously, things changing. But it's all about what you want. So my goal in this life is to leave it a little better than what it was when I walked in, and whether that's helping out in town here, coaching sports, doing things like that, involvement with things like this, which is very awesome. Thank you guys very much for having me on. Clients, and you mentioned earlier about, like changing a light bulb. Maybe not to that extent, but we've done it all the time where people have called us like, hey, I know you guys are really big, but I have a light outside of my house that I can't do it myself, whether they're older or, handicapped or anything along those lines. And we say, yeah, no problem. We'll send one of our guys there and we'll put the light on. And sometimes those lead into just thank you very much and a nice email.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like, also, I have this house that I own, and the whole thing needs to be redone, where we would have never gotten that lead or lead into their friends or anything like that if we just said, yeah, sorry, we don't do light. We don't do one light.
Yeah. Exactly. You got to be open.
It's just taking care of people.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of the things that we've grown into is started off of little things and meeting people in the middle, understanding where they're coming from. And, if let's say we normally charge X amount to do something and someone's older or something along those lines, it's like, okay, we can meet you here. Not every job we're looking to retire on.
Right.
And there's things that happen in jobs, like not everything goes perfect, where we
That's life.
Exactly. We take down a wall and there's some framework that's messed up. you know, and it's not my job. I didn't see it when the wall was there.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't see what it was on the inside. So if our framer says, hey, it'll be $200 to do it. I've screenshotted you guys things. Hey, it's $200 direct to get it done.
Yeah.
Just because it's not up to me to be like, oh, 200. Oh, you know what? Make it 250.
Yeah. No, they framed my whole attic in my garage.
Yeah.
I just finished my garage recently, and I had a water leak. I didn't tell Chris about that, but in my garage after it was finished. But they had a framer come out, and they had him frame up everything so that I could use the space in my garage because it was pretty open. And they did a really good job. Put a whole pull down. I said, I want a pull down ladder. And Chris, I love that idea.
Yeah.
And he put it together, and it's like, it's awesome now. Like now I go out there, watch my Dodger games when I can watch them, and you know, my sports games. Everything's all done nicely. And the framer that you guys had, he's good. He's quick too.
Oh yeah. And like we were talking about earlier about the laundry list that I tell people is because in your mind, if you don't know much about construction or anything like that, you might think doing your kitchen is going to be $200,000.
Yeah.
So you think, oh, I don't have time to touch my kitchen because I need to do the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then once we write everything up, the kitchen might be 30.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want. And then the bathroom that you initially thought was going to be 30 comes up to be 10, and you can do them both at the same time.
Yeah.
Because for me, if I went to your house and you wanted this done, you're like, I only want my bathroom because I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Your house is under construction. You have to move things around. You're doing all of these things. And then you're like, hey, I think I want to do my kitchen now. And then I write it up and you're like, oh man, I wish I just would have done them both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
So
inconvenience.
Exactly. And let's say you think your kitchen will be 10 and I write it up and it's 20.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, at least I have a number now.
Yeah.
At least I know that I'm under what it is and we need to budget a little more, or we need to wait a little bit, or you know what? We can do 20. Yeah. We just thought it was going to be 10.
Yeah.
So like I said, and that's where we come in to kind of meet you in the middle. Give me everything you want. And then you guys can sit down and decide, I want this, I don't want that. We definitely need to do this. And then the last job we walked, I said, hey, listen, let's write everything up. And if you say no to 10 out of the 15 things, we'll do the 5.
Yeah.
And then as we're going, if you're like, hey, I know I said I would do all these doorknobs. I don't have time for it. If we bid $100 to put in all the doorknobs, I'm not going to come back. Well, let's say everything was in an essay, right?
Yeah.
And in my mind, I thought, okay, $100 to do these doorknobs. Then you say no, and now you come back and you're like, you know what? I think I want to do the doorknobs. Okay, $175.
Yeah.
You know, the way we do things is if you say no, you come back when we're doing it. You know, it's $100.
Yeah.
It's transparency across the board.
Yeah, unless materials, things like that. Go
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's variations between it. There's expiration dates for our estimates.
Yeah.
And you know, if you said, hey, you know, you bid my house in January, I think I'm ready to do it now. I would, you know, reach out to the subs. Like, hey, this is what we got going on. This was the job. It's this changed. All right. Hey, Josh, just so you know, everything stayed the same. The flooring went up a little bit. This is what your new cost is.
Yeah.
Just because we've waited, if the prices hasn't gone up, we're not going to keep adding things on just because you waited.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to a question that I don't know. So I'm asking you, does Economu offer like payment plans or like any financing or anything like that for people that maybe they have enough, but they don't have the full amount at that point? And they say, hey, I can do 15 out of the 20. Can I finance the additional 5? Or do you guys have a certain amount of time? Like, hey, pay us by this date. Everything's paid for.
Well, it really depends. So there's some jobs where if there's an escrow one, say, hey, listen, you know what? We'll give you 45 days once we finish the job. To get it going, to get it in escrow, and let's say the 30-day escrow ends at day 44.
Yeah.
Communication is key. It goes both ways. You guys are great at that.
Yeah.
Hey, I have it in my calendar that next Fridays, you know, are 40 days, 45 days. We close escrow that following Wednesday.
Yeah.
No problem. We just change some things for us.
Yeah. And
We're really good about that.
Yeah, I can attest to that. Yeah, you've done that for my clients. And it's a nice option too, guys, because if your home's in escrow with us and you need something to get repaired, you may not have the money out of pocket, but you're going to definitely have it from the net proceeds. Yeah. Economu will do a bill through escrow with it, but we have to communicate.
I think it's on a as is. It can
it depends on it
because every transaction is a little bit different. I don't want to speak for
well, the good thing about us,
put them on the spot, but they're really good about working with you.
Well, the good thing about us is we float our own jobs.
Yeah.
So if you're my flooring guy, you're my window guy, and Michael's our roofer, when you finish the flooring, you're paid.
Yeah.
When you finish your job, you're paid. When you finish your job, you're paid.
Yeah.
So we don't wait for the job to be done for the client to pay us to pay everyone out.
Exactly.
So we do allow some escrow or pay through escrow. It just depends on the jobs that we have going on and kind of where we're at.
Exactly. Yeah. And sorry to spit. Yeah.
No,
I didn't mean to put you on
you're
the spot.
fine.
That was a good step in, Ron. But
Yeah, no, you're good. No, but
but in that scenario, like where we had a delay with our escrow because the buyer is on the home sign, like, hey, we can't get our loan closed. We need an additional 5 days or so.
Yeah.
Communicate that to economy. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll make a note of it, and we have it noted. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like it's communication. Goes back to the communication is key part, which we appreciate that part of it.
Yeah, but in-house, we don't do like
In-house
a
lending.
finance.
Gotcha. Okay.
But the way it's broken down is if your job's, $10,000, you don't pay $10,000 at once, or you don't pay the whole $10,000 at the very end. We'll do 10% deposit. We'll do a 30% once we get some rough trades, 30% once we hit the next benchmark.
That's pretty normal.
Yeah, so it kind of goes out. It's not like you have to dump everything at once.
Sure.
Yeah, that's good.
So once you guys approve it, you'll DocuSign it. My wife Andrea will send you it's a 10% deposit to get everything going. That's when I'll build the schedule. I'll send it to you. Say, hey, we'll be there the 1st. We'll be done the 15th. And you say, hey, the 10th and 11th, we're not going to be here. I don't want anyone here.
Gotcha.
Cool, no problem. We block those days out. It extends it a little bit more. And then what I like about us too is, like I said, it's the full transparency. When it comes to the schedule, you'll know, okay, Juan's our demo guy.
Yeah.
So, I tell people all the time, test them. When they knock on the door, say, are you Juan? And they'll say, yes, I am. They'll know what they're doing. You'll know who's in your house.
Yeah.
Would they take before photos, after photos, timestamps, so okay, if you were at work, we used our lockbox to get in. The first picture was at 8:30 in the morning. And then at 3 o'clock, they locked it up, picture of the lockbox, picture timestamped. They were there between 8 and 3.
Gotcha.
And we use a system called Builder Trend. They upload photos. You get an email. There's been a what's the word I'm looking for here?
Like an update.
There you go. There's been an update on your project.
Yeah.
And you can click it. It'll say the person's name. It'll even tell you what the weather was that day. And it'll say finished rough repairs, all of the pictures, and you can see them all.
Yeah.
Because our goal is if you're at an event, you're talking with family, with friends, and they're like, hey, how's your house going? And you say, honestly, I have no idea. You can say, you know what? Look at this. This is where it started. This was the demo. This was this. And this is where we're at now.
Yeah.
Very good.
So where could somebody find Economu if they wanted to reach out directly to you guys?
So our phone number is 661-265-9693, economuconstruction@gmail.com. You reach out there. If you call the office, 8 and 5, you'll get myself, Christian, Nancy, or my wife, Andrea. They'll take all the information down, see when my next availability is, and we can go through there. We also are on Instagram, Facebook, Economu Construction.
Awesome.
Very good. And so our office is on M4, and your office is on.
L12.
This is right down the street.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's another local company.
So if you know where Avor's Medical Group is, we're right behind that.
It's like there's a signal on that street where it's
L12.
easy to get in and out of what I'm
Yes.
getting at.
And right by the Social Security office, administration.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
hey, I
It was
appreciate it, guys,
great.
very much.
Awesome,
Thank you.
Awesome. So very good. So if you want to get a hold of Chris, you can listen to what he just said. We're going to have those the links at the bottom of the podcast. And remember, for higher expectations and higher standards, choose the higher advantage, real estate, sales, and service. Take care. Be safe out there, and have a great day.